you are ready.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I'm so excited to be here and just to be sharing this evening and bringing this call to life. If you are on this call, you're here because you're interested in getting healthier. You're ready to, have a little bit of a detox. I know we're talking about healthy holidays here and a challenge throughout the holidays because let's be real, like everything gets so unhealthy and everything is around food during the holidays and it can be super overwhelming. So having like an accountability group and all of these fun ideas to stay healthy but also still have the best time is just so much fun. So I'm Danielle. I'm 23. I don't know why I'm telling you that. I'm 23. I'm from England. I live in New York, and I started doing this program that we're going to talk about this evening, the Shred 10. My first one was this time last year. Crazy. This would be my 12th shred, and we do it for 10 days every single month, and honestly it's the best thing that's happened to me just because it's easy and it's so much fun and it's healthy and it's sustainable and it's all about flooding your body with the good stuff. So my journey on the Shred 10 has been incredible, just getting used to what actually feels good for my body, letting my body tell me what it needs, and just being able to align with that is so important to me, as I had a background in trying every single crazy diet you could ever think of to now just focusing on nutrition and what's good for me. So it feels so fab to be focused on health and not focused on image. And I just love this program so much and everything that it stands for. And by doing it, I feel like I look the best I've ever looked anyway. So just stay to healthy. With that being said, I'm going to pass this over to Ariel, who's going to share a little bit of the details behind the shred, and some of the girls this evening are going to share their stories as well as the facts. So passing it to you, Gal.
Yes, so I am left with the task of sharing the nerdy science stuff, which I love. Actually, I have been really passionate about health and nutrition for a really long time. Just like the short version of my story, in college, I had a pretty unhealthy relationship with food. I just didn't eat much of it, and it took a lot of hard work and a lot of personal growth, personal development, and tuning in to regrow this relationship with myself and really start to learn to love myself. And what's so great is that passion, or that all the energy that I was put towards worrying about what I looked like or worrying about what other people thought, worrying about calories, was able to be transformed into this passion for health and wellness and nutrition. And, if I'm being totally honest, like, I've tried a lot of things over the years. Like, I've done all of the crazy diet trends and things like that. And the reason I really like this program as opposed to anything else is we do, 10 days a month, we do take some things out that are known to cause inflammation and increase oxidative stress, which I'll talk about later. But more than anything, this program is focused on adding in good nutrition, really focusing on the things that we're missing. So I'm going to share a couple of slides with you guys today just to make it a little bit easier, a little more. Let's see. Okay, can you guys see this? Cool. So there are two startling trends happening in our world today. And the first is that environmental toxins are increasing. And you can see a lot of different ways here, but it's in the food that we eat, it's in the clothes that we wear. Like literally the plastics that we eat out of leaches into our food, it's in our water sources. So there's a lot going on that we're exposed to. And if you don't live in a bubble, there's no avoiding it. Toxins are around you and they're getting put into your body. And another thing is that our food quality is decreasing. So preservatives, flavor enhancers, all these things, basically the whole middle section of the grocery store, for the most part, is not doing very positive things for our body. So, And what this all leads to is this thing called oxidative stress, which I kind of touched on a second ago. Oxidative stress is, so you guys see this apple down at the bottom, and do you see how one half is brown? So if you cut open an apple and you don't do anything, it will turn brown, right? It will oxidize. And you can think of that word oxidation. It's like rusting, right? When metal oxidizes, it rusts. The same thing happens to our food, but the same thing actually happens to our body, and toxins are going to speed up that process. And what a lot of people don't realize is that antioxidants are the key to beating oxidative stress. So if you put lemon juice on that same apple, it would take significantly longer to brown. And that's because lemon juice is an antioxidant. And so if you think about it, antioxidants battle oxidative stress. So they're our best defense against this, this thing that we're battling. And that's kind of what's going to lead to premature aging, disease, everything like that. this is a really cool slide that when I first learned about this was just like totally blew my mind away. So I'm going to use the word like oxidative stress and toxins kind of synonymously in this, even though they're slightly different, but they're correlated. So if you look in the upper left-hand corner, you can see a human or a depiction of a human. And all those little polka dots represent toxins, oxidative stress building in the body, things like that. What a lot of people don't realize is that most toxins are actually fat soluble, meaning that they can be absorbed into your fat tissue. And so what happens when you just focus on dieting, you're just focusing on eliminating calories, which was me for so long, you end up like this guy in the middle top. And what happens is they got rid of the excess fat, but they didn't get rid of any of the toxins. We call this person kind of like the skinny fat person. Like they might be thinner, but they don't feel great, right? They're not like thriving with life. And what's really, really actually brilliant about the body is that it outsmarts us. The body knows that we can't have toxins like this all in our body or so close to our like our key vital organs and our like the viscera of our body. So what it does is it's like, here, let me give you a cushion. Right? And so what the body does is that it builds this cushion of fat to protect your vital organs, your heart, liver, lungs, kidneys, to protect them from these toxins so that the toxins aren't so close. So you have a better chance at beating them. And so, you know, it's, have you guys ever had that moment where you're like elbow deep in the peanut butter jar and you're like, why? Stop it. No, right? Okay, just me, right? So what happens when you're in this step between the middle one and the right one on this top row is that all of your hormones will flip on to cause you to eat basically until you gain that extra weight, and there's not much you can do to control it. And those hormones are going to have you reaching for the highest calorie, most dense foods because those are going to be the things that have you put on fat the fastest. So something that I found really freeing, and you may or may not have an experience with this in your life, is that if you reduce toxins in your body doesn't have the need for rebound, right? So, you know, we've all seen those people who they lose the weight and then all of a sudden, you know, 6 months later, they've ballooned back up and they kind of yo-yo up and down. And you guys might have experienced this yourself. I know that I've definitely experienced a little bit of this, especially after, you know, recovering from my eating disorder. But if you look down at the bottom, there's a really cool depiction of what, and when I say cleansing, I just mean like natural reset, right? We're not going crazy and like only drinking juices, which would be a powerful thing to do here and there, but it's pretty unsustainable. And I'd say most people like can't get past day one. And so we get a little lost in the benefits. So if we reduce the toxins in the body, what happens is the body can just shed fat naturally, and it's not going to have so much of a need to rebound. So something that you may or may not know is that we need, actually, do this. Hold up your fist. I know luckily everyone I can see. Yay, you all did it. So get a good look at this. This is one serving size. Think to yourself how many servings of fruits and veggies this size you ate today. If you're brave, you can hold up your fingers. I'm at about maybe 3 or 4. Include my, we got 2, we got 4. All right. The average answer I get is 1 to 4, so don't worry. But as this slide says, we need 7 to 13 servings every single day of fruits and veggies. And there's a couple different reasons for it. One of the biggest reasons is that our produce is not that nutritious anymore. It's traveling thousands of miles to get to the grocery store. It's being picked way too early. Like, how many times have you gone to the store and seen like bright green bananas or like rock hard avocados? That ain't fresh. That was picked way too early, and a lot of the micronutrients weren't developed. So a lot of people say, okay, we need to supplement with something, and so they think of like vitamins. And I want to this slide made a really big impact on me when I first saw it. So on the left, you can see all of the ingredients in a multivitamin. And on the right, you can see all of the phytochemicals that make up an apple. So when you're looking at this, there's no replacement. Like, you can't replace what you get from fruits and veggies from vitamins and supplements. And the science is really proving that. There's really little to no science that shows that vitamins are doing anything really that positive in our body. So what do? We're going to talk a little bit about the Shred 10. I'm going to show you a couple of the guidelines, and I'm going to talk to you guys about some tips and tricks that we're using to really make this holistic, and so that we can really focus more on that aspect of bridging the gap between those 2 to 4 servings that you guys held up for today and getting you to that 9 to 13, and then the impact that will make, as well as taking this 10-day reset. So during the 10-day shred, and note that the shred, it doesn't mean to shred 10 pounds. It means to shred bad habits, toxins, things that aren't serving you. Sometimes the side effect of better health is weight loss. Sometimes it's other things in the body, just like increased energy, increased stamina, better digestion, less inflammation, right? So there are lots of things that can happen when you shred bad habits, toxins, and such from your day. So on the shred, for 10 days, we'll add 9 to 13 servings of fruits and veggies a day, drink plenty of water, sleep 7 to 8 hours per night, exercise most days, and this can be whatever you like. Maybe it's a walk, maybe it's yoga, maybe it's a spin class, right? And then you're eliminating caffeine, dairy, sugar, alcohol, gluten, processed food, and eating late meals. And I will talk about the eliminate later in our presentation or in our webinar today. But what I'm going to say is, how do we get those 9 to 13 servings? And what about snacking, right? Because those were my two biggest questions when I first learned about these guidelines. So I want to talk to you a little bit about how all of us who are speaking today have been able to bridge that gap. And here, what I'm going to do is stop sharing so you can see my face for a little bit as I talk about this. So, you know how I said earlier, our produce is not fresh. It's picked way too early. And so we have to be getting fresh produce that's picked at its prime, which is why we partnered with a company called the Juice Plus Company. And I want to tell you a little bit about how they do what they do and why we love it. So what they've done is they've partnered with small to mid-sized farms all over North America. They grow the produce where it grows best. They let the produce vine ripen completely, and then they pick it at its prime so it has the highest nutrient content available. And then from there, they dehydrate it, remove the sugar and the salt, and what you're left with is a highly concentrated plant powder. And this is how all of us are getting those 9 to 13 servings into our body. So like I said, you can't use a supplement to replace what's in whole fruits and veggies. So this allows you to have the ease of something that's like a supplement, but be actually getting fruits and veggies. So even though it comes in a capsule, I feel like I have to get out my fishing rod and reel people's heads in, because it's not a vitamin. It is actually fruits and veggies in a capsule. And so I want to show you again, I'll share my screen, all of the things that are in Juice Plus. So imagine getting all of these into your body every single day. You can look at this list, and how many of these are you even getting on a monthly basis, right? A lot of people don't realize, but we need the whole rainbow. We need every single color to feed our cells. Every single color is a different phytochemical, meaning plant chemical, and every single phytochemical does something different in the body, right? So certain ones are going to be good for hair, skin, and nails. Certain ones are going to be good for our hormones, regeneration, things like that. Another thing that we do to really help us with snacking is we include our shakes, which have a low glycemic load, so it helps stabilize the blood sugar. They're vegan and non-GMO, gluten-free, dairy-free, plant-based, everything like that. And this is the most important thing. Do you see where it says at the bottom, prebiotic fiber? Do you guys know what probiotics are? Yeah. Do you guys know what prebiotics are? Kind of. The ones that have heard me share this spiel before. So prebiotics feed the good bacteria in your stomach. A lot of people don't realize that if you don't feed them what they eat, they also die out, or the bad ones can overgrowth feeding on things that you maybe shouldn't have been eating, right? So we want to be feeding the bacteria in our stomach, the good bacteria, what they eat, which is insoluble fiber or prebiotic fiber, which is why these shakes are super powerful. So when we're doing the shred, we're pumping our body with 30 different fruits and veggies from our capsules, and then an additional 15 plants from the shakes, which also have that prebiotic fiber. And on the shred, we have 2 a day. I actually do 2 a day all the time. It really, really helps me stay on track. But we'd say the lifestyle version of this would be maybe you go to 1 a day when you're not shredding. All right, so let me see where I'm at. I think that, just a little bit more about what it is. 45 different plants, NSF certified, which means it's free of any chemicals, antibiotics, hormones, anything like that. And we have over 35 published studies. Juice Plus is the most researched nutritional product in the world. Here are some of the universities that have published journals on it. And what's so cool is we give them the product, but they get to post, we tell them post whatever you learn, whatever the study shows. And so it's amazing what the results have shown of how this is getting into the bloodstream. It's bioavailable. It's doing amazing things for inflammation and oxidative stress, which we talked about earlier. And there's a whole list of other things the studies have shown. If you love even more nerdy science stuff than what I just shared, don't hesitate to reach out to whoever invited you, because I'm sure they'd love to share that with you. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kylie to share her story. You have to unmute yourself.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Okay, you can hear me? Okay, awesome. Yes, so I have been on Juice Plus capsules now for about 3 months, and it's been quite amazing. Within those months, I've had the opportunity to shred a couple times, and so this past week, I finally decided to jump in and do one. And I mean, all I can say is, wow. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how amazing my body feels. I'm on my 10th day now, and my skin's cleared up. My energy levels are super high. I'm not sick, even though both my roommates are. The list goes on. And so based on the results I've gotten so far, I know that it's going to become a part of my lifestyle now that I plan on doing the shred once a month. And I know some of the girls on my team and in this call maybe are doing the shred all month this November. Yeah, so right now. And so obviously that's a goal of mine to work towards. But anyway, so a little bit about me. I'm a college tennis player. I'm studying exercise science and nutrition. I love working out on my own. I'm super involved in the fitness community in my area, which is St. Louis, Missouri. And so by that, I mean, I bounce around to studios and gyms and stuff a lot. So basically what I'm getting at is I'm very active. And so I began to kind of investigate the shred a little bit, and I finally decided to try it out for a couple different reasons. One, just being to improve my overall health, because it's not easy to make your health a priority in college. I know most of you guys probably understand that. And other than that, I really just wanted to strengthen my immune system. I have eczema, so that's another autoimmune disease that I've always struggled with and stuff. And so I wanted to clear that up. I wanted to, like I said, have more energy, strengthen my athletic performance, and clear up my skin, excuse me. And so I started doing the Shred 10, and I mean, all I can say is it's easy. It's so easy. There's guidelines. They're very simple to follow. It's not some difficult process. The other thing that they don't limit is calories, which that's a big one for me because, like Ariel, I've struggled with eating disorders and restricting myself. So that's a big one. I've never been able to follow a diet because I obsess over those. And so, yeah, like I said, they don't ask you to count your calories a day. They don't restrict you at all. They don't ask you to count how many calories are in your shake and then you can't have anything else. It's not like that at all. It's kind of like, this program where you can just adjust it to your lifestyle and to your needs specifically. So for me as an athlete, I need a little bit more food because I'm working out constantly. And I was able to do that. Not only was I able to do that, but these were whole foods I was putting into my body. And so using the Juice Plus capsules to make sure I got these micronutrients, and then using the Juice Plus Complete to make sure I was following the guidelines and getting my macronutrients as well, was a really big thing. And then another thing that was huge for me was giving up dairy. And then if you know me personally, you know how hard that must have been for me. Dairy and I have a very love-hate relationship, meaning, well, I love it, but it hates my body. And it took the Shred 10 to really realize I needed to cut out the majority of it, if not all. And so throughout the 10 days, I did cut out completely. And honestly, it made the world of difference, not only to my body, but my mood. I started to realize I had so much more energy, my skin cleared up, and I was in a more positive mood and mindset. It was just really apparent, and I was getting comments from people. I was on the phone with my mom, and she mentioned how upbeat and happy I seemed. And so I'm just going to end it by saying it's really just such a great program. I can't say enough about it. It's the only program that I feel like I can follow and still feel satiated. I still feel like I have the energy and the ability to do the things that I love to do, because for me, my athletic endeavors are everything. And so anyway, I really hope this helps you out. I'm just really excited that I got to share a little bit about my experience with the Shred 10. And yeah, thanks so much.
Oh, amazing. I didn't realize that you were on day 10. It's like perfect timing to hear where we just like, I can feel your brightness radiating off of you. And that's really how you feel at the end of the shred. I've been consuming Juice Plus products for about 14 months now, and I've been doing the shred since last December was my first shred, which is the one where we would start. So we kind of start right after Thanksgiving, the first Monday of December, and we go for those 10 days. So it's kind of the perfect space to fill in like from your Thanksgiving to the holidays so that it doesn't like all go to shit, right? For those 6 weeks, you can kind of have that little prelude. And yes, I swear like a sailor, unapologetically, that's just who I am. So I want to share a little bit more of the details about like why the certain guidelines are the way that they are. But I also want to comment on the power of this community. Something that I didn't have in all of the endeavors that I've tried in the past is community support. And you can see, you know, the four of us speaking on this call, we're a huge part of this community. But honestly, it's really, you're not going to be in this alone. Whoever invited you is going to be there to support you all along the way. And it becomes kind of this like, you know, fun thing. Like we'll text each other and be like, oh my God, how about that 6 p.m. cutoff? Or like, how are your detox symptoms or whatever it might be. And so that has been a big game changer for me. So I am going to share my screen one more time. And this is a little bit of my story. So it's, you know, it's cool that Kylie was talking about her skin. This was the day I started consuming Juice Plus. And then as you can see about 3 months later where my skin has gone to, and you guys can see where I am now, my skin was in a really, really bad place. And I will be fully honest, my skin is not perfect now, but it's so much better than it ever was. I mean, I was at a point where I was like, I couldn't leave the house without makeup. And now I leave the house makeupless all the time. Just a little bit of scarring left, but no big deal. So what's important to know is we want to be eating foods that keep us in this like zone of willpower, which is one of the reasons why the shakes are so awesome. But have you guys ever had the experience where like you eat something and you're like, phew, and then you crash, right? Or if you look at kids and feed them M&Ms, it's like, then you'll know what this looks like because they're like, zoo, and then they're sleeping on your, you know, their face is like drooling next to you. So we want to really stay in this zone of willpower by having these low glycemic foods, which like I said, is why the shakes are so powerful and why eating whole foods is really helpful. These are what the guidelines look like. So you're adding more real food. Again, we really recommend Juice Plus. If you're getting 7 to 13 servings of fruits and veggies every day, all day by yourself, I mean, you might not need it, but here's the thing, like that's 365 days a year, 7 to 13 servings. I'm not talking about just on Tuesdays or on Sundays when you feel like it. Like it's super important that you're getting that every single day. And then, like I said, we add in the 2 shakes a day, drink plenty of water, sleep 7 to 8 hours, exercise most days. And then, as I said, here's the eliminate section. And I want to talk about why we eliminate certain things. So caffeine is a really annoying one for a lot of people. I'm one of those weird people who never did caffeine because it makes me totally haywire. However, I have helped a lot of people who had extreme caffeine coffee addictions, and they were pretty not pleased with me for the first 3 to 5 days, depending on how extreme their coffee addiction was. But by day 6, almost everybody said that they had more energy than they ever had drinking coffee. Caffeine disrupts your hormones, it disrupts your sleep pattern, and it's not to say you can never have it, but it is pretty important to reduce it. Dairy is known to cause inflammation in the body. There's many, many studies that show that. Again, it's not something that you have to give up for forever, but when you give your body a break from these things while pumping it with all of those antioxidants from fruits and veggies, it gives your body a chance to reset and repair, which is why we shred pretty much every month. There's always a shred happening every month, so you can always jump in. And I would say I do like 10 months out of the year because every now and then I'm traveling, things like that. Sugar, we know that disrupts our hormones. Alcohol, I don't think I need to explain that one. Gluten, again, known to cause inflammation in the body. If you suffer from anything autoimmune related, gluten is probably something you want to get rid of for forever. But everybody's body is different. It does make a massive difference. For me, when I eliminate gluten, my energy levels are much higher. If I eat gluten, I'll need a nap. And that's just showing what it's doing in your body. Processed foods, I think that first slide that we talked about showing all of the toxins really highlights why processed food is not so great. Now, the one that people kind of get caught up in, I say mostly, is the caffeine, and this last one, eating late meals. So what does eating late meals mean? Eating late meals means stopping eating 3 to 4 hours before you go to bed. And this was really hard for me, especially in this day and age where, I get off of work or whatever, whatever it might be. What happens is when you're digesting food, there are certain hormones released in your body, right? When you're sleeping, there are other hormones released in your body to help you have regenerative sleep, meaning you can be asleep but not regenerating cells, which means it's not very productive sleep. And so if you're still creating the hormones to digest your food while you're sleeping, you're not getting regenerative sleep. Have you guys ever eaten a late meal and then slept 7 or 8 hours and still felt tired when you woke up and you're just like, I don't know, it just wasn't like the best night, right? This is one of the reasons why. And so for me, this is by far the hardest one, but by far the most impactful when I incorporate this. Because, I'll be honest, I cheated on one shred and I didn't worry about this one. And it was a massive difference in the impacts that it had in my health. All right. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Hannah to share her story and wrap us up.
Hey, thanks. Man, that not eating before you go to bed really was a game changer for me. But as we kind of close up this call, I want to thank you guys again for being here and being open to something new. And that's exactly how I ended up here. About a year ago, I was struggling with super severe IBS. I had been an athlete my entire life. I've always been pretty healthy. I know how to eat well. I knew how to move my body, do all the things to really support your health. And for me, IBS was triggered after traveling through Asia for several months. It's fairly common after having a parasite. Your body reacts by your stomach lining getting super messed up. I won't get into too much detail for your sake. So I started meeting with a lot of different doctors, and it was a group consensus. I had IBS and I should try classic elimination diets, obviously cutting out gluten and dairy, but also going through pretty much the full spectrum to see what was really triggering my symptoms. The trouble was that everything was triggering my symptoms. My body was a total prison to all food. And yeah, I felt awful no matter what I was eating. And that's when I realized that I needed to truly heal my body. I didn't know how to do that, though, with the medicine I was familiar with. I'd taken antibiotics, probiotics, didn't know yet about prebiotics, which have been a game changer, too. So, yeah, when I was introduced to the shred, I was pretty familiar with all of that elimination part of it. And it made sense. All that science that you're hearing tonight about why this works, I was pretty confident in that. But there was something that really stood out to me that made a difference about this program. And it just wasn't all about what you're eliminating and you're taking away. It wasn't a punishment. It wasn't about what you're subtracting. It's about what you can add to your body to make you healthier. And, it was what my body was missing in order to heal my body and rebuild my health from the ground up. So adding more fruits and veggies has been a game changer. And, I've truly healed my gut. It's kind of crazy to say. I don't know where the heck I'd be if I hadn't tried the shred and Juice Plus. And I hardly have IBS symptoms anymore. And I'm sensitive. That's just how I am. To be honest, I'm pretty sure it's just because I'm weary of food. So if I were to probably sit down while I wasn't shredding and eat a bowl of ice cream, I probably would be fine at this point. So this stuff works. And this program works. And even if you aren't super sick like I was, if you aren't getting that 9 to 13 servings of fruits and veggies every day, your body is truly at a disadvantage. Your immunity, your ability to heal, whether it's a workout recovery, if you have an injury, if you are sick, this is plant medicine. And I think that's sometimes difficult to wrap your head around, but food is medicine, and it's being proven to be more so all the time. And so, yeah, if what you've heard tonight is something that excites you, and just reach out to whoever sent this to you or whoever invited you tonight. I don't know where I'd be if, Ariel actually is the one that shared the Juice Plus and the shred with me. And I am forever grateful to her. And yeah, I have learned so much about how food impacts my body on a cellular level. It's super powerful. And the Shred 10, like we've said before, it's a lifestyle. So, it can work really well as a reset. it allows you to also have this awesome community to support you during that time, because detoxing isn't easy. And yeah, it helps you get back on track whenever you don't feel like your strongest or your brightest self. So it's super simple, and it's not all about what to take out. It's about what you can also add. And that baseline of health, that fruits and veggies, I mean, no matter where you are on your health journey, if you're, on the couch with a food coma after Thanksgiving, to know that you have that baseline of health, it's amazing. And it's really, really supportive. And everyone's going to be really, really tired around the holidays, right? You're going to be all joyful and bright, and they're going to be like, what the heck is wrong with her? Like, what's going on with her? Be that person. It's really awesome. And yeah, this healthy challenge goes beyond 10 days. This can be the rest of your life. And again, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. And we hope to see your faces again soon within this community. And yeah, have a wonderful rest of your evening, and happy holidays, everyone.